What's up, Wastelanders? Hello and welcome to Tapes from the Wastes, a Fallout fan podcast bringing you lore, game discussions, news reactions, and all things related to Fallout. I'm one of your hosts, KDB, and today I'm once again joined live, not in person, just live across video call by my co-host of the show, fellow Fallout fan. He's also the host of Tamrielic Adventures and Super Nintendo, one of the busiest podcasters out there. It is, of course, Eric, aka Sulior. Hello, Eric.
Hey, two of these live ones back to back. Who'd have thought? It's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's good. No, we did an episode in between. So remember, we did the one like a month ago, didn't we?
That's right.
It was like the reaction. It was like when the new season had just launched or something like that. I don't know. We did do an episode in between. So yeah.
Was that not live? I've slept since then.
Yeah. But yes, it's good to see you, buddy. We are here today to talk lots about Fallout and lots of other things. First of all, how are you? How's life? What's going on? Any projects? What's happening in the world of Sulior?
Yeah, there's always something going on. It seems like, isn't there? And I've yeah, just normal stuff. Got the two podcasts I've done on my own. I recently figured out how to post a video to Twitter. Because that took some how do I turn an audio clip into a video? Because Twitter does not accept audio clips.
Yeah, that's really silly. It should do that because it's like it should just have like a voice note feature that you could, add it like every other app on planet Earth.
So yeah, my most recent episode of Tamrielic Adventures was an entire retrospective on Morrowind, and I decided to throw a little Dunmer impression in there. So I posted a poll seeing what people thought of that, and I'm like, I should probably give them some sort of reference for that. But it was positive, so
it was good. I was listening to the episode, and I was like, because when you do your voices, sometimes like you do just kind of. So you have had the skits in the past that are set there, but sometimes you're just talking and then you'll go into the voice, and I do always have a laugh to myself when I'm listening because they're always great. And yeah, that Morrowind episode was awesome, by the way. It really made me want to play the game. So, and I'm not the first person to say that. I've had a couple of people, who I do podcasts with, mention that they recently discovered Tamrielic Adventures, and yeah, they thought it was great too. So yeah, kudos to you on that one.
I just wanted to do that game justice because, it did take me a bit to get used to it. But once I did, it's like it completely consumed me there for I don't know how long. It still does sometimes. So, but yeah, just with Nintendo, I'm going to be doing a breakdown of the most recent Legend of Zelda trailer, the final one before the game gets released, because they revealed a lot.
Yeah, I've avoided it. I'm gonna get the game. I'm in a weird place with that game because I love Breath of the Wild. Like lots of people, I really didn't like the weapon degradation, and I feel like, is this sequel just going to be a lot of the same, more of the same, rather than a fresh experience? But I am going to get it, but to kind of protect myself a little bit, I just haven't bothered with that recent trailer, but I've seen people going nuts about it. So
I haven't watched it myself yet. I kind of want to watch it live so I can give that natural reaction, but yeah. I really hope that they incorporate some sort of repair mechanic or breakdown so you can actually craft things. That's what I'm hoping for.
I remember the first time I played Breath of the Wild, and when the weapons first started breaking, I was just like, oh, that's annoying. Right, where's the repair button? And it's like, nope. And then I can't remember if I've said it on this podcast before, but then what I did is I looked up things to do first in Breath of the Wild, which is sometimes a good thing to do with these big open world games because they can be so daunting. And
really
it said,
overwhelming,
it said, just go to the castle and grab some good gear. So that is one of the first things I did. I just went all the way there, and you can get pretty much to the boss room by just kind of speed running past the enemies, and you can pick up really good quality shield and sword, which stayed with me for a large portion of the game, which was quite good. But yeah, aside from those things, the weapon degradation really annoyed me. It was
those
confusing.
Of you who've never played it, that is kind of like sending people north through the quarry in Fallout New Vegas.
Yeah. That's a good good call. Cool. Well, yeah, as I said, for those who've not listened to the Morrowind episode yet, please do go and do that. Subscribe to Tamrielic Adventures and Super Nintendo. I occasionally pop up on Super Nintendo as well. So, and I was just mentioning to Eric before we started recording, I want to jump on Super Nintendo again soon because this week I saw the Super Mario Brothers movie, and
Yes.
no hyperbole, no exaggeration. I think it's the greatest video game movie ever made.
Better than Detective Pikachu. Wow.
Yeah, and I like Detective Pikachu a lot. The Sonic movies are fine, but yeah, and then it kind of stops there. The Mortal Kombat movie was good fun. I'm repping Mortal Kombat today with my t-shirt.
I'm actually repping Zelda, so
yeah.
We'll see, but...
We're absolute suckers for these franchises, aren't we? Yeah.
There we go. You can get the Hyrule Crest there.
So yeah, I saw the Mario movie, and I'm a few days removed from that now, and I'm gonna save. Like I say, I want to come on Nintendo when you've seen the movie, and we're going to talk about it at length. But my brief review is so much fun. It's so straightforward. The soundtrack is amazing. So much to love in there for fans, and just it's aimed at kids quite clearly. But as an adult, me and my wife both got a lot out of it, and yeah, really, really enjoyed that. So. Can't wait till.
I wasn't so much worried about Chris Pratt. I was more worried about Seth Rogen just playing Seth Rogen.
Yeah, I know, which he does, and Donkey Kong has Seth Rogen's laugh. The which, but I tell you now, you watch the movie and it's like it doesn't feel out of place. It's just kind of like, well, I guess that's how Donkey Kong laughs now. And yeah, I think he plays it really well. Donkey Kong, I came away from the movie thinking was a real highlight. But yeah, I want you to. You see it whenever you can, and then I think you and I are going to have a long chat about it in the future. Sure. But aside from that, I mean, I've been busy outside of tapes, obviously, as you know, with First Aid Spray and Gears Intel. For First Aid Spray, it's been a big month because Resident Evil 4 Remake came out.
Yes.
We did an almost 4-hour review of that game, which, was pretty intense but awesome. It's a game I'm still playing now. I'm trying to 100%. And then for Gears Intel, we recently had an anniversary for Gears of War Judgment, which was 10 years old, like March the 19th or something. So we've been putting a lot of content out to do with Judgment. We did our Judgment retrospective episode as well. And me and Lou put out some 2 Carrots stuff recently, and I have some bonus stuff coming to the Patreon for that. So for people wondering why we're not doing tapes every week, as we've said many times before, Eric and I do lots of stuff. Both of us, we have multiple shows, but we're still here. We still love Fallout, and we got lots of Fallout to talk about today. Before we get to Fallout specifically, there may be some Fallout chat in this section. We're just going to talk about general gameplay first. So I should say this episode it's not a lore episode. When Eric and I get together, it's usually just discussions and community feedback and stuff. So we're going to be talking about our feelings on the season and looking ahead to Fallout, and we have a few community responses at the end. Before we specifically get to some Fallout stuff, what about general gameplay, Eric? What are you playing at the moment? What have you been? It may have been Fallout, but yeah, just anything else that's on your rotation.
There's a lot. I'll save the Fallout stuff for a little bit later.
Yeah.
But I've been playing quite a few things. The 2 biggest things, I'm going to start with Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I've been playing a ton of that. I got it not long after it first came out because, Vikings and Assassin's Creed, what could be better? But I don't know how many hours I put into that game when I first got it. I just played it obsessively, and then I was looking at the map, and like I said, I don't know how many hours I put into it, and I was combat rating, 120, 130, and I was looking at the map, and it was like, okay, don't try this section until you're like combat rating like 360. I was like, are you fucking 360? Kidding me? Are you serious? So I'm like, okay, I need to put some time into something else. So I hadn't really played it since then.
Yeah.
But as you know, I'm on TikTok quite a bit. I stumbled across this musician named Peyton Parrish, and he did a cover of this Viking song by this Irish guy named, he goes by Miracle of Sound. It's called Valhalla Calling. And it just really, like, I looked him up, and he's got this whole, like, Viking album, and that just really put me in the mood to play it again. So I've been playing it a lot lately, and I've gotten really far in the story. I want to say I'm up to, like, combat rating 230 now, but I've finished a lot of the story areas. I think some of the ones I was looking at were, like, boat raid areas. Like, don't raid this area until you get to that. But, like, the story areas themselves, I think that they're not as high as that. So yeah, I've really been enjoying that game. The other thing that I've been playing quite a bit lately, I was chatting with a friend of mine, and she was really talking about Civilization 6. She's a big fan of that series, and that's not something I'd ever really tried. Those games never really seemed to hold my interest for very long, because I really need some sort of story to keep me hooked.
Yeah.
But she was really talking it up, and she said it's free on Game Pass now. So I was like, you know, what the hell, I'll give it a shot. And I was playing it pretty obsessively for a while also. So I've had to start a second game of that, because the first game I made the mistake of just quick starting a game, and it put me in a really small map. And so you don't have a lot of space to build, and you've got the same number of leaders. And I don't know what I did to piss Queen Victoria off, but she had a vendetta against me. I swear to God.
Yeah.
Like, she was constantly complaining about me for different reasons, whether it was I built into her area, which was probably the other way around. Like, she built right next to one of my settlements. And she was complaining about my production level and so many different things, and she ended up, like, going to war with me multiple times and just completely taking me out. So yeah, Queen Victoria, don't mess with her. But I did start a second game, and I actually custom built this game. I made it on a pretty large map. I toned down the difficulty a little bit, and I've done quite well this time. I haven't pissed anybody off yet, so we'll see how it goes. I hopped into Skyrim again recently. Oh, by the way, thank you for suggesting that game, if you're listening to this. So, yeah, I hopped into Skyrim a bit because of, like, the Skyrim Addict podcast was really talking about this mod a while back called Legacy of the Dragonborn. And I wanted to give it a shot. I think it was only on PC there for a while, but I really wanted to try it. It basically, you come across this museum in Solitude, and basically you're going out and hunting down ancient relics. It's not specifically Dragonborn related relics, but there's a lot of like lore based items that they want you to find. So I actually streamed a little bit during the day this week, and it's for about an hour or so, just trying out this mod, and it's really cool. Like, I just put out a Morrowind related episode, and one of the first things that they want you to go find is a sixth house hammer. So, which, you know, the sixth house is Dagothur's cultists, essentially. So, you know, things like that, which is really cool. Like, I think I'm only going to play that mod on stream. That way, if anybody's interested, I can kind of go into the significance of these things that you're hunting down. But yeah, the other thing that I started playing recently is Ghostwire Tokyo. So This just came to Game Pass, and unfortunately I have to play this through the cloud because I have an Xbox One S.
It's still cool console. That you can do that. I mean, the
Yeah.
fact that you have the option to still sample those new games, even though you're on the old console, I think we have to give props there. And
yeah,
because cloud can be
Deathloop too. So
yeah, cloud can be hit and miss, but yeah, I don't really have any trouble with it. It works fine for me. So
yeah, well, the first time I tried it, I don't know what was going on, but it was really struggling to keep up. Like, I couldn't see shit. I actually died because of it. I don't know if it was just a processing thing or what, but I played it a bit yesterday, and it was really smooth. Like I think I even played. Yeah, I played at a couple of different points yesterday, and it went just fine. So I've been progressing with that. I took some screenshots in photo mode that I posted on Instagram, or not Instagram, but Twitter. So yeah, it's such a pretty game. Like the landscape reminds me a lot of Cyberpunk, with all the neon and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all in Japanese. Obviously, you're in Tokyo, so they don't translate it into your languages. But I don't mind that so much. I like listening to it. So. Yeah. But yeah, that's about it for me.
Yeah,
just a lot of.
That's awesome, man. I mean, as is always the way, there's just so much out. There's always so much to play. And then you mentioned Valhalla, which is like, a couple of years old, and it's like there's still games. There's always going to be games on the backlog, and it's the same for me, really. But recently, so we are going to get to Fallout talk. I have been playing a lot of Fallout 4, which I'm going to get to in a minute. But outside of that, as I sort of touched on, Resident Evil 4 Remake. I mean, this game. I know you're not like a huge Resident Evil player. You've dabbled and been in and out the games, and
I like to be. I want to be.
But so the new game came out, which is the remake, obviously, of the. It's weird. I have a weird relationship with Resident Evil 4, and those who listen to First Aid Spray will know this. Where I really enjoyed it when it came out, and then over time, I kind of grew further and further away from it. The original is far more focused on action and gunplay than survival horror. It's quite... Yeah, it just sort of moved away from the things that I fell in love with Resident Evil 4. Doesn't mean it's a bad game at all. It's a fantastic game, and it like paved the way for over-the-shoulder third-person shooters and stuff like that. So, yeah, I was always feeling a bit funny about the remake. I was like, I'm sure it will be good because of Capcom's engine now, and the previous remakes had been good. It blew me away. I mean, it's such a good, faithful recreation of the original, and with key modern improvements to controls and weapon switching, which just make the gunplay and which make the action side of it more enjoyable. Which, I'm kind of more forgiving of the fact that there's less scary stuff, and this is kind of the same with this remake. They have amped up the atmosphere a bit, and it is darker in places, which is really cool, really good to see. It's just so fun to play because of the gunplay. There's so many different weapons, mobs of enemies coming towards you. You quickly switch between, shotgunning, pistoling, sniping, throw a flash grenade, and you've got a knife to parry with as well. So you're going through all these little combat scenarios with these crazy creatures, and then there was some nice additions to the Resident Evil lore tucked in there as well. And I think pretty much everyone on the First Aid Spray review we did came away from it like, yeah, they knocked it out of the park. We were all very kind of apprehensive. How do you kind of get lightning in a bottle twice? And they, without a doubt, did it. I think there's a few people out there that maybe don't enjoy it. And there's people you'll find saying that they still prefer the original. I prefer this remake over the original. And that's purely based on the modern controls, because it's just...
I really need to try that. Like I said, I've got the original on the Switch. And I don't know if that was a mistake. I couldn't get past that first area where the entire town
man
comes after you, and I get cut up by the guy with the chainsaw.
If you can't get past there, you're gonna have that's kind of like the starting area. It only gets worse from there. So
maybe I just need to set it to baby mode.
Yeah, it came out on the Wii as well. I don't know if you've got a Nintendo Wii, but I highly recommend.
I wish.
Yeah. I mean, they're pretty cheap to pick up now if you find one on like Marketplace or something. Because the Wii version of the original Resident Evil 4, it's almost like it's built for that, because it's kind of every weapon has a laser sight, so it's not a light gun game, but it has that kind of feel, and it's just kind of more immersive. It's much easier to play.
Shot bow or Link's crossbow training.
Yeah, it's that kind of deal. So. Yeah, I always loved the Wii version, but yeah, this remake, I'm still playing it. It's a game that I'm enjoying so much that I'm going to go through and I'm going to try and get all the achievements, and I'm very, very close. I've got a few more to go, and then it has like 100 in-game challenges as well to get, so kind of going for all of them. Yeah, absolutely blew me away as a Resident Evil fan. It still doesn't have the full survival horror experience that I want, but as a game to play, yeah, just an absolute blast. And that's been taking up most of my time in the past kind of well, since it came out, so a few weeks ago now. And then I mentioned Gears of War Judgment for Gears Intel. I've been playing that for the podcast. Aside from that, not much else, because if I'm not playing those games, generally my son is on the Xbox playing Fall Guys or his new
I was wondering if that was you or him.
Yeah, and it's usually, I mean, we'll be playing it together. His favorite games at the moment are Fall Guys, Mario Kart. Obviously, he came to see the Mario movie as well, and it just blew his mind.
Nice.
And his new favorite game as of yesterday is Goat Simulator, which, when you think about
that's a fun one too. Yeah,
it's kind of perfect for kids to play because all you need to do is just run around and smash into things.
Yes.
So yeah, he
run people over.
Yeah, he's loving that. So that's my main gameplay. But as I said, I have been playing Fallout, not really 76. I did play 76 today, which I'll get to. But we'll move on to Fallout gameplay. And I'm going to start, if you don't mind, I'm going to keep rambling on, Eric, and I'm going to start with my Fallout 4 gameplay. If you're listening to this in your podcast apps, please do go and subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you can not only see the video version of this podcast, you can see some Let's Play videos that I've been putting on the YouTube channel. Now, I wanted a reason to play Fallout. I've kind of touched on this on previous episodes, where I always need to find a new reason to make me play, because I don't want to say I'm tired of 76. It's not that. It's just I need something to really, really grasp me, and the scoreboards weren't necessarily doing it. So I thought, right, okay, I'll put a poll on the Tapes Twitter account and say, what shall I do for a Fallout 4 like Let's Play series or playthrough or whatever? And I think I suggested Jill Valentine mod, melee only, pistols only, and I can't remember what my fourth one was. Oh, I think it was like asshole mode. So like, I was just
I think you're right.
Just go through and just be horrible to everyone and kill people and stuff, which I don't ever enjoy doing. Whenever I say I'm going to do like an asshole run, it doesn't really last very long. Like,
I mean, you'd fit right in Nuka World. So
yeah. So, but of the poll, the thing that got the most votes was the Jill Valentine mod, and I thought, okay, great. So I took it one step further, and I fired up Fallout 4 on the Xbox, and basically installed all of the Resident Evil mods that I could find, which includes like some basic things like UI sound effects and ammo boxes. Like,
that was really cool.
Yeah, stuff from the games. But then there were some bigger ones, like, so first of all, the Samurai Edge pistol, which is a famous gun from Resident Evil. You could get that in Fallout 4. And then to get basically the monsters from the game, or get a few of them, you could get the zombie dogs, the lickers, the hunters, and zombies. And then obviously my character has a Jill Valentine like outfit and Jill Valentine model.
Yeah. Speaking of which, though, that one that had the skull next to the name, that indicates it's a boss level creature.
Yeah. It's because I was playing it like, why is this one? This must be the alpha zombie dog. And yeah, so I got a bunch of these mods installed. There's some music ones as well. And there's a couple of episodes on YouTube now of the Let's Play, and the third one is coming. I've recorded it, and I'm hoping to get it up maybe tomorrow or the next day. And then I'll probably do one more after that. So it's not like a full Fallout 4 playthrough. It's just like a mod showcase and a reason to get me to play. And just doing that, just adding those mods, just now has got me back in Fallout mode. And I've been playing it a lot. And then, as I said, jumped into 76 today, but those mods that I installed for Resident Evil, I have to say, like, I was so impressed. And I don't know if you play Fallout 4 or have played Fallout 4. You mentioned the mods for Skyrim, if you've used many, but some of them can be hit and miss, and some of them can be fine, some of them can be incredible. Generally, these Resident Evil mods have blown me away, and they've been incredible, and they've rejuvenated me for Fallout. But have you used mods on Fallout 4 at all, or what's your thoughts on that sort of thing?
I've done a lot more with Skyrim.
Yeah.
But with Fallout 4, like the Fallout feed did a playthrough of Fallout 4. Was it 1 or 2 years ago? I don't really do anything super game breaking like that, but I had to clean up downtown Boston because I was constantly crashing in downtown Boston. So I had to do everything I could to prevent that, which it still does a little bit. The character that I did for that was high strength, low like perception. So I added a mod that gave me a really cool samurai sword, like a katana. It was they placed it on top of the red rocket, so I had to figure out how to a way to get up there. So I did like a place anything in build mode thing, so I can just hop up.
Yeah.
I want to say that's really about it. But the next roundtable that they're doing is Fallout 4 survival mode.
Nice.
So I had to, I needed to give myself a little bit to deal with that. So Andrew had mentioned this craftable survival tent that because you have to sleep to save. And I wanted to be able to save anywhere.
So you can't just quit and save. You have to.
Yeah, you have to. Okay. You can't fast travel, and you can't. You can't just save on the fly. You have to sleep to save. So you have to really become familiar with where the beds are. Yeah. But if you have a survival tent on hand, then you can just place it and save there. Yeah. The problem with that is with the bedroll and the survival tent, you're probably going to get a disease. So I need to get some sort of like doctor or companion or something like that.
Yeah,
because I'm playing on Xbox. I can't use console commands. It was also suggested that there is just kind of like a save anywhere in survival mode mod. Just something to make it a little bit more bearable. I've never done a survival mode with anything because I'm not a masochist. But
I mean, just not being able to fast travel, that alone is like...
Yeah.
That changes the game a lot.
As I mentioned in the Morrowind episode, like I kind of understand why it didn't have like they want you to explore because there's just so many things that you won't know is there unless you do explore. If you're only fast traveling to like the main cities, you're gonna miss a lot. So like I get it. So yeah, like I said, I've never done survival mode on anything. So we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna give it a shot. But I did want a little bit to make it easier. I don't know. Some mods are just like fun, like you mentioned the Resident Evil detailing, and for I might try something like that. I know there's one that changes the death clause into Randy Savage, kind of like the Macho Dragons in Skyrim. It's done by the same guy. Like some of them are just really fun. I liked that one a lot more than Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah,
because that one was just annoying. It's that whistling constantly. But yeah, I always approach a game like I want to do it vanilla first and then add mods later.
Same.
But yeah, I'll probably play around with it a little bit. It's just there's only so much you can do on console as opposed to PC.
Yeah. I mean, there's a pretty decent selection on Xbox, and what I will say is, so for example, with these Resident Evil mods, I didn't know what they were going to be like, and it also has some recreations of locations from Resident Evil as well, and a couple of them were like fine, but then a couple of them were just insanely good, and it just my face was beaming. And again, to be playing Fallout and get that kind of first time feeling that you have when something is really exciting. So when I went to Concord and you're just doing the first bit of the game, I escaped the what would have been a Deathclaw was now a hunter. So I escaped the hunter, and I was like, okay, great, I'm fine now. And then I just opened a door, and there was a licker behind the door, and
was really funny.
And it just scared the absolute shit out of me and surprised me. But I found it both terrifying and hilarious, and I had so much fun then running away. And the licker
really should have changed the rad roaches.
The licker itself was like surprisingly. It didn't feel out of place. It didn't feel out of place from the game as well, which was another fun thing about it, because some mods, like you say, can be a bit game breaking or immersion breaking. It just felt like, oh, I've got some DLC for Resident Evil for Fallout 4. Like, it felt
It's
right
amazing
at home.
how far mods have come in the last 10 years. Like, it used to be like you loaded a mod and you're like, okay, that's obviously a mod.
Yeah.
But they've put so much time and effort into them these days. Like, there's actual whole like mod teams that you wouldn't know that it's not part of the game naturally.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and the fact that it's free as well, as I say, is just a huge credit to the community. And I made sure, I put the people who make the mods, I've put them in the description of the video as well, so you can, if you want to check them out yourself, you can. Please do, because I felt absolutely spoiled with this selection of mods, and I've had so much fun. I'm looking forward to wrapping up that series, and then it's just making me think, right, what can I do next? Like you mentioned Randy Savage, I'll just type in wrestling on the mod search and see all the wrestling mods, and what's that going to give me? And then just do a Let's Play series with that kind of theme,
Yeah. I remember so many, like the early days of mods, like playing Wolfenstein 3D. There were so many that like change, like you can have all the enemies be Street Fighter characters or something like that.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy that they were even doing this like way back in the early 90s. But yeah, it's amazing what they've done these days.
I would say my first experience with like modding or a mod type thing is, do you remember, you may not remember, I don't know how much into, if you were like a Mega Drive kid or a Nintendo kid, but so Sonic the Hedgehog 2 has what's called a debug mode, where you essentially can tap in the cheat and then you just can change Sonic to assets from the level and then think of like Super Mario Maker, but you could just do it there on Sonic 2.
Yeah, it was in like the options, like the sound test menu. Yeah.
And then you could just like, and I remember like you'd be like, okay, I'll just put like 100 of the enemies in a line and stuff like this, and just add loads of rings and then instantly become Super Sonic. And that was basically modding back then in like 1992 or 93 or whatever.
Yeah, it was like game developer testing thing.
It was the debug mode, but it felt like, right, I can kind of create my own level. And it's the same thing, like back then it just brought a whole new experience to playing Sonic 2. It's kind of fun, and it's the same now with mods. And I get, I don't have a PC, so I know people that have PC are like, oh yeah, I have mods for everything, it's no big deal. But as a console player like you, our access to mods are very limited. So it's also, now what's frustrating is we've been told that mods are coming to 76 for console for a while now, and we
3 years at least
still don't have them. I mean, look, Bethesda, if you want me to keep playing 76, I love all the content you're putting out, it's amazing all the work that goes into it, give us those mods for console. I'm sure it's more difficult with an online game, but yeah, if there's a way. They
kind of did it with custom worlds,
yeah,
but it's not quite the same.
Not quite the same. I want to be able to play as Jill Valentine in Fallout 76 and things like that. So yeah, I've been having,
aside from just having an outfit,
exactly, and I've been having so much fun with that. Really, it's bringing my two loves together. I might have to type in Gears of War and see if there's anything on there for Gears of War mods.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
Like if they had some weapons, like what is it? The
chainsaw. What if you get the chainsaw lancer? Yeah. I'm gonna have to check that out. So yeah, please do go and check out the Let's Plays. And what we're going to be doing is, we're trying to do more for tapes that beyond the podcast, so stuff on YouTube as well. What we are going to start doing is, so Eric streams like more than I do. I say more than I do. I don't really stream at all anymore. But so Eric is streaming. If you miss his streams, we're going to start putting the replays on YouTube as well. So it's just another thing to watch. And I guess if you're doing this survival run, are you going to be streaming some of that, or
probably?
Yeah, we could maybe get that on the channel as well. So come and subscribe.
I made sure to adjust my music, like game music.
Yes.
The last one I did.
Yeah, so I had a VOD from Eric, and the gameplay audio was just far too loud. So what else was I going to say? I think that's it for Fallout 4, and like I say, I have got some 76 gameplay to talk about. But what I'm going to do now is we're going to move to we're in the midst of season 12 of Fallout 76 right now. I guess you could say it's wrapping up soon. We're
about to start season 12 part 2, essentially. There's going to be an update.
That's right.
Here in a few days. So
yeah,
we'll be talking about that here in a minute.
Yeah, so I haven't really played this season at all. I've played a bit, but as I said, I've been focused on other stuff. But I know you have been playing, and as far as I'm aware, you've completed the scoreboard. You're on Scorecation.
Yep, I'm on Scorecation now. Yep.
Yeah. What's your thoughts been on this season? Any kind of highs and lows? Just generally, really. What's your 76 gameplay been like for this season?
It's been fun. I actually decided to do Fallout first for a month, just so I can get all the extras with it. That ammo storage cabinet is actually kind of nice to have. Not to mention the scrap kit. So the last day that I had this subscription, I bought all sorts of bulk junk just so I can have it available.
Yeah.
Because I had all like 25,000 caps. So it's been good. Like they've really changed up the dailies to kind of refreshen them. So that's been nice. Being able to re-roll has been really nice because I'm not much of a daily ops person, so I was re-rolling. And it's not just a one-time thing. You don't just get the re-rolls like at one time. You get 1 to 2 per day, depending on whether or not you have the first subscription. You get 2 if you have, and you can re-roll a weekly also.
Yeah.
So if you're not doing the daily ops every day, then why the hell would you want to do them every day for a week?
And you can unlock some re-rolls as well, right? Isn't it like the first thing on the board is a re-roll?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and you can also buy them for 50 atoms.
Yeah.
So there is that too. So that's really been nice. But yeah, like, and then they released the cryptid Indrid Cold into the wild, so it was really cool running into him. And he actually does, like, because I mean his lore is like he was really connected to the Mothman myth. So that was really nice to run into him. I kind of had to look up where he was.
I'm just having a look now because I've not experienced this at all. Ingrid Cold, known as the Smiling Man. Mm-hmm. The Smiling Man claims he's either seeking a seeker who cannot be found or teases he may simply be lost. He says he wishes for the Vault Dweller to experience their own sense of happiness. His comments suggest he is returning to Appalachia, possibly before the Great War, as much as change during his absence. Ingrid Cold, Smiling. It's quite a funny looking character.
Pretty creepy. Yeah. And if you shoot him, he shoots up into the sky like the Mothman does.
Oh my god! Okay, nice.
I did clip a video. Like I screenshotted it. Like I took a video of it when I encountered him. I don't remember if me shooting him in the face was part of that, but it was really cool. And the scoreboard kind of teased a bunch of unreleased cryptids that I guess we're going to be getting a couple here pretty soon. But I loved that cold shoulder shotgun is phenomenal. And I've actually taken out a few sheep squatch with it. And I actually posted a video to my TikTok of me taking out a sheep squatch with it. And I actually got a comment on one that I kind of wanted to read.
Yeah.
Because, I've taken to posting a lot of video clips on my TikTok of my gameplay. Of not just Fallout, but a bunch of other games, too. I actually posted a video of Ghostwire Tokyo last night. But, yeah, there was a video of me utilizing the cold shoulder shotgun against sheep squatch. I was trying to do the BattleBot quest, which actually the BattleBot quest was going on, but there just happened to be a sheep squatch there. But the cold shoulder shotgun, you get, I want to say, like level 5 on the scoreboard.
Yeah, you get it really. And I think I must have it then because I'm a shotgun player. That's my main weapon in Fallout 76. But
I'm not. But
yeah, I might have
I'm
to
definitely
give it a
making
shot.
use of this. It's become one of my trusted weapons now. Because it does extra damage against cryptids, and then it also has a freezing effect. It's not a legendary weapon, but it has legendary effects. Like the freezing effect is really nice especially against the sheep squatch with the quill shots and the jumping thing. Which how in the hell does I jumped in the video that I posted? Mm-hmm. I'm jumping while he's doing that stomping attack, like ground pound, and it still affected me when I was in midair. Like what the hell? But yeah, somebody commented on this last night. Said this is one of the coolest videos I've seen on TikTok, but everybody would rather watch a lady pour soup on herself. Anyway, keep up the awesome work. So thank you. I'm not even going to try to pronounce your username, but thank you for that comment.
Eric posts the premium content on TikTok. Sadly, if you're a soup
not just
lover,
dancing videos and ladies pouring soup on themselves.
Yeah. But I will put the link in the podcast description as well.
With the Fallout clips especially, I've added music that's actually in the game that I am posting. So I'll put, like, if it's Fallout 76, I'll do like Country Roads. I think I want to say, I can't remember which one I used for that. Atom Bomb Baby. That's what it was.
So my very first post on TikTok was also a Fallout 76 clip, and it had the Beach Boys playing. And
wouldn't it be nice?
So the clip the clip is me at White Springs. Now, White Springs golf course and the sort of golf club used to be one of my main XP grinds, because there's loads of ghouls in there that will all just kind of charge at you. And there's also there's loads of cars outside, and my clip was me luring them out, shooting, but then the cars exploding, and then a chain reaction, and then me dying, and then just catapulting through the air like 100 feet away, which I think to this day is still one of my most viewed TikTok clips. But yeah, it's a good place to check out Fallout stuff. So yeah, go and follow Eric's account.
That's awesome. But and like I said, the dailies have really changed up. You're not having to level up every single day, which, when that was going on, what I would typically do for the weekly is I would just create a new character, level up to where I get the weekly, and then kill that character. But you're doing things like scrapping junk, which that is really easy to do. All you have to do is make a bulk of that junk and then scrap that. Selling a particular item to the vendor, which that one got a little challenging, because there was one where you had to sell a Scorch Beast steak to a vendor, which that one was challenging, because Scorch Beast meat is not the easiest to get. I mean, bones, heart, brain, those are pretty common, but the actual meat for a steak was difficult. I want to say there was one where you had to sell a Mirelurk Queen steak. That was also challenging. But again, if you don't want to do that, you can just re-roll it. And like I said, those rerolls do build up if you're going through the scoreboard. You're not just getting the free ones every day. Killing the cryptid was pretty easy to do. I usually take out the Grafton monster at Hemlock Holes. Not to mention, that's a good place to get Snallygassers. We had the Spooky Scorched that showed up for the April 1st, like April Fool's Day, which, god damn, that for most of that week was kill 10 a day, when it used to be 5. Like, what the hell? But they did change that up a little bit. They changed it to where you would cripple their legs or their heads, which that's really easy to do. You just target it and it'll usually cripple before they die. But yeah, it's like 10 every day, man. That's it's hard to find 5 sometimes, especially if you're playing in a public world, which is, I was typically going into a private one since I had the first subscription. But yeah, like, I think the fact that they were refreshing the challenges that we'd seen for a year or two was a welcome thing. And then, there's Cold Shoulder Shotgun. There were challenges related to that, like kill, so many different enemies with a shotgun. Or lately, they changed it up to a railway rifle or a missile launcher. Luckily, I was able to craft a railway rifle, and with the ammo storage, I had some railway spikes saved away. I did have to craft some, but that wasn't too difficult. So. I didn't like carrying around a missile launcher, so I did go with a railway rifle, and I did okay with it. What I typically would have to do, though, because I wasn't, my perks weren't set up for it, was do most of my damage with my Gatling gun that I run around with, and then the last couple of shots I would favorite the weapon and switch to that really quickly. So, all in all, I made it through the scoreboard pretty quickly. Like I said,
Nice.
I've been on scorification for at least a week now.
Yeah.
So, this next update. I mean, did you want to talk about your
Yeah,
gameplay?
I'll
You
just
said you
quickly
played a little
touch on
bit.
mine because my as I said, I've been playing Fallout 4. I played 76 today, and I'm going to play some more after the podcast. One thing I suppose I noticed was so the dailies definitely. I could see that they've changed, and I see it's different. They seemed tougher, I think is the word. They didn't seem as easy. Like, for example, I think one of my dailies at the moment is drink 5 Nuka grapes. Now, unless you have some, like finding 5, there's like one place I know where to go to get 5. Or unless I guess you could make them, but I don't have a way to make them. So I was looking at that. I was like, I don't think I'm going to get that one.
The last scoreboard included a skin for your Collectron that was Nuka Quantum or something like that. And that you can actually set it to where it will collect the various Nuka Colas.
Yeah. Okay.
So there is that, but yeah, and then there's also the fountain tap at Nuka World.
Yeah.
So I mean, you could just do that, hop worlds.
Yeah, but, that's fair. So yeah, that was one thing I noticed. But while I was playing today, I mean, it's fine. I found myself. I didn't find myself like completely grabbed. I was like, okay, I'll tick off some stuff and just kind of get a feel for it because we're doing the podcast today. But I definitely was thinking more like, I would much rather be playing Fallout 4 right now. That being said, I do think the scoreboard for this one was super interesting, and there was stuff on there. Like, sometimes you'll go through and it's like there's a few things, maybe like 1 or 2 things you're like, I would really like to get that. I think there was quite a lot on this board. Now there is time left. So what are we now? So we're April, and in theory June will be when season 13.
I think it's the beginning of June.
Yeah. So
and by the way, for those of you who are new to this show, we're not specifically a 76 podcast. We're like a series encompassing show.
Yeah, that's it. So yeah, we're the middle of April at the moment. So in theory, I've got time, and I think this Fallout 4 stuff, as I said, is giving me a nice little shot in the arm for Fallout. And although I'm still playing Resident Evil 4 and some other things, I think I'm going to be able to squeeze in. The other thing that I mentioned on the previous episode is I was playing so much Dark Souls and Elden Ring that has just taken up my time. That is parked now. That is out of my life at the moment, so I can focus back on Fallout. So I am going to definitely climb up the scoreboard a bit more because there's some things on there I wanted to get. Whether I get to 100, I don't know. It's going to take a lot. Like you have to. I know you said you got through it quite quickly, but you do have to put in a little bit of time.
Yeah, it is a grind for sure. It still is, but you know what? I didn't mind it too much.
Yeah.
I've been running around with some people lately, like the Modus Files crew. I've been running around with them a little bit. So that's been fun. I'll just, hop in. And we're not specifically like, okay, yeah, you have to follow me around the entire fucking time. But, if we happen to see an event pop up, we'll show up. We'll check each other's camps out.
Yeah.
So that's been fun, too. Like, the fact that if you actually do have people to play with and do things with, that definitely keeps it interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm definitely a fan of the theme as well, the Rip Daring theme. Like Encrypted's like, I love like
Jones,
like the whole cryptozoology stuff. I think it's really cool. It's one of my favorite things about Fallout. So yeah, I've not been playing this season loads, but this jumping back in is making me okay. Yeah, I'm gonna plow through, and like I said, I'm gonna jump on again after the podcast, and I'm not doing a great deal tomorrow, so I'll probably play some tomorrow as well. So it's been fine. I've just been focused on other things, as I say. Do you? We're going to get to community sponsors in a minute. How long have we been going for now? Okay, yeah, we got a bit more time. I don't want to keep go for 2 hours, but so yeah, we're going to get to a few community responses in a bit. But do you have any thoughts, Eric? Like the future, what do you want to see more of at all, or less of, or what's going to keep you playing for the rest of the year? I know what I'm going to say for this, but yeah. What about you?
I mean, we'll probably have a similar answer. Yeah, let's talk about the new update. That's coming out here in a few minutes. So yeah, this will kind of be like Scoreboard Story Part 2.
Yeah.
Essentially, because like I said, they had a lot of cryptids on the Scoreboard map that we hadn't seen yet. Mm-hmm. And I guess we're actually going to be getting a couple of those here pretty soon.
That's right.
So this update rolls out on the 18th. And it's kind of funny. I was actually watching the United Wastelanders Everything camp stream this past Thursday. And Jess was talking about this. She said the reveal of it really reminded her of that segment from the Pokemon anime. Like, who's that Pokemon? And I was like, yeah, that's accurate. So we are getting a couple of new cryptids in the game. There is the Blue Devil, which kind of looks like a werewolf. And yeah, we're actually going to be able to go find these in the world, in the game world. So I mean, this whole update is going to be Blue Ridge Caravan related. Mm-hmm. So we're getting the Blue Devil, and then we're also getting the Agua.
Yeah.
I don't know how the hell to pronounce that. Agua, yeah. Which kind of looks like Razor from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
That was the first thing that came to my mind. We're getting Tokar and Razor from the Teenage Mutant. I think it was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2. So yeah, we're gonna be able to go out and find these guys. I don't know if they're gonna be in the Cranberry Bog or they're probably, I don't know. I'm sure there's gonna be a few places where we can encounter them, just like the Smiling Man.
Yeah.
But we're also getting some new events and daily quests. So there is the Beast of Burden, where a trade deal goes wrong, and there's going to be cultists that are stealing Brahmin, and we're going to be helping Uncle Vinny recover him. There's going to be a daily quest involving this as well. And then the Mothman Equinox is coming back. So I really enjoy this event. I enjoy the Alien event too. It seems like they happen at the opposite times of the year. But yeah, the Mothman Equinox event is going to be going through from the 25th through the 9th. So I'm sure that's also going to be part of the dailies around that time. But I also like the fact that they're going to be like they're always like the top of the hour events, so you know when they're going to happen. They just don't pop up randomly. So yeah, that's what this update's going to be. So I'm sure there's going to be some downtime while this rolls out. Mm-hmm. But there you are. That's what we're getting.
Is this the first time we've had new cryptids?
I mean, the Smiling Man was the first.
Well, so, yeah, okay, yeah.
But yeah. These are the.
And have we?
This is the first time we're going to be getting that.
Like, have we had any substantial new enemies added since the release of Fallout 76? Like, so you could say like Spooky Scorch and stuff doesn't really count, but like, you know, because it's quite substantial to add 2 new cryptids like this.
Yeah, because I'm sure these are going to be like world bosses. Yeah, I mean, the Smiling Man, you can interact with him. The fact that you could actually talk with him is kind of cool.
Yeah.
But I would imagine these would be more like the Sheep Squatch.
Yeah.
Because I want to say the Sheep Squatch wasn't in the base game either, was he?
No, I don't know. I think you might be right. Yeah, it's been so long now. This game's like
I
5
wasn't
years
playing
old, right?
at that point in time, but yeah, I want to say that the Sheep Squatch wasn't a base game rollout either.
I think it came in the first year, right? Surely. I mean, somebody listening can fact check.
Yeah, I'm sure somebody can tell us.
Yeah.
Clint from Hershey.
Yeah, I mean, okay, that's good, and yeah, that does pique my interest. I mean, this is sort of more in line with the things I want from the game for the future. Obviously, I've said before, story updates, story DLC. Yes. That's kind of
100%.
where my interest lies. But this is good. It's a good start. I don't want to say good start. That's the wrong way to put it. But it's a good addition, and I think it's kind of nice that it's timed. It's timing right with me with now that I'm going to be jumping back in 76. So I'm all for it. It looks good. The Blue Devil looks less interesting than the Ugua. The Blue Devil, I mean, it just looks like a giant werewolf, to be fair. Or I guess the Tasmanian Devil, is it? Is it like supposed to be?
I want to say the Blue Devil is an actual like real cryptid in the Appalachia region.
Yeah, they
Again,
usually are based on real stuff, right?
I was watching the
Real
United
stuff.
Wastelanders stream, and she actually asked somebody in the chat who lives in West Virginia, and he said that it was a real thing.
Yeah.
I thought at first it was based on the Jersey Devil, but no, apparently there is a Blue Devil of West Virginia.
Yeah. Bit like the Chupacabra as well, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing, isn't it? But yeah, essentially it looks like a giant hench werewolf. So, yeah. And then it looks a little bit like a Stegosaurus as well. So,
Cross, with the turtle.
Yeah, with the snapping turtle head. Cool. But yeah, anything else that what about you? Like, what do you want to see for the rest of the year? From 76, it's going to keep you playing. Is it the same sort of thing or anything else you wanted to add?
Like I said earlier, story is usually what hooks me.
Yeah.
And we haven't really had any substantial story additions since the Brotherhood of Steel.
That's right.
And I mean, I like the way they did that. It just seemed like they split it into two parts, but both parts could probably have been played within a couple of hours. So that is something I would love to see, like a big story edition. Like, I don't know if they're eventually going to do something more with the Enclave. Or we do have a little bit of Enclave in there. Like, we know that the Enclave was in Appalachia with Modus being there. But they haven't really done a whole lot. Like, with the Brotherhood of Steel story, they did explore some Enclave bases where they were doing experiments. But we haven't really seen the Enclave themselves. So I don't know if like a story edition revolving around the Enclave would be something. I mean, I would love to see that. But basically, yeah, just more story.
Yeah.
Because just going around doing random shit only keeps me interested for so long. Like,
yeah.
Once I do finish the scoreboard, I usually take a break.
Yeah.
I kind of have been lately. Yeah, if somebody's playing, wants me to play with them, then great. Yeah, I'll hop in for a little bit and run around with you, because that would definitely keep me interested too. But for the most part, I play solo, so I need something to keep me interested, and that's the biggest thing for me, is having that story to chase.
Yeah. Agreed. I'm in the same boat, and I think I just really want to see more. You mentioned the Enclave. I just love to see more connective threads to other things outside of Appalachia, and I know the timeline is all over the place, but we could have distant relatives of Okay, so what year are we in 76? So it's 25 years after. Yeah. So
2031, something like that. Or no, 2081, sorry.
And then Fallout 3 is what? Fallout 4 is 200 years after, right?
210?
Yeah.
Something like
what
that.
About Fallout 3? Sorry, I know this is like a pop quiz moment.
I want to say it was probably 25 years before that, because McCready was in both, but he was a kid.
That's right.
Fallout 3.
So, so there's a perfect example. Like, McCready is a connective thread there. Can we not get a relation to Three Dog? Can we not get like a relation to another character? You could bring the same voice actor in as well if you want, because that would just make it all the more enjoyable. I just want to see those fun connective threads, because that's kind of something like we have the whole overarching world building stuff and the whole kind of the mythology of Fallout, which is great, but at the end of the day, I think attaching yourself to those characters is the thing that has the biggest impact. And okay, it's an RPG and you make your own character and stuff, but yeah, characters like Three Dog or McCready or whoever you want, if you're seeing them again, that's the thing that's going to excite me. And I know you can't see them in the same time because of the timeline.
Yeah, this is only like 26 years after the bombs.
Yes, but there's got to be a way to just tie things in a bit more. I'm fine with the scope and the scope across, United States and stuff, and I would love to see stuff outside of the United States. But yeah, it's the characters.
It'd be also interesting to get more into what all Vault Tech was doing.
Yeah.
Because that would probably be the biggest thing, aside from like the Brotherhood of Steel's origins and the Enclave.
Yeah.
We know that allegedly Vault Tech's whole plan with 76 was rebuilding the world, but that also means that they knew that the world was going to be ending. So yeah, what exactly was Vault-Tec
Yeah.
up to before the bombs dropped
Yeah.
in Appalachia? I mean, you kind of get that a little bit with the Overseer, but only to a certain extent,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, I mean, I would quite happily take a. I guess it's quite extreme. I'll take a DLC that's set in a different time before the bombs are dropped, and with no radiation and no ghouls. Well, I guess you could still. I don't know. Maybe there's some testing and ghouls are still present. I don't know. There's some radiation testing, so they could be present before the bombs drop.
We all know we know a little bit also about what West Tech was doing.
Yeah, there you go.
If you go through Huntersville and West Tech,
Yeah.
the facilities.
Yeah, so as always, there's loads of potential. We know that the next game is years and years away. So yeah, just give me some of that sweet story content for 76. I'll pay for it. I'll buy it. You know, it doesn't have to be free. I will pay for it. Cool. All right. Well, we're going to start moving towards wrapping things up. But before we do have a few community responses here. We want to try and involve listeners more in the episode. So yeah, come and follow us on Twitter or now comment on the YouTube videos as well. And we'll try and do more Q&A stuff and listener responsive. But we did ask what people were thinking of the new season. And I think people are sort of in the same boat as you were, Eric. We have a response here from White Lionel who says, this is the second season that they've not played. Having burnt out from the game's content being drip fed is my main problem. If they have as many active users as they say they do, why can't they release larger content drops? Now, I wanted to start with this one because I know I said they're in the same boat as you, but I meant the other ones. I wanted to start with this one because I don't feel as kind of extreme as this person does, but but
not quite.
I get it.
Yeah.
Like I get it. I'm not really playing 76 because the content that's being dropped is not necessarily for me, which is fine. It's obviously for lots of players, and the game, as we've mentioned, in the midst of live service games being shut down left and right, Fallout 76 persists, and for good reason. It's a good game with a very committed community and a very committed group of players who continue to support it. Now, what do you think about this? You know, we've just talked about the story there, but what do you think about the way content is dropped? Do you think it's good for the lifespan of the game, or would you say you might prefer something else? Because as I say, people are still playing, so they're doing something right.
The updates have been fairly regular. They just haven't really been stories so much. I mean, there was a little bit with the expeditions to an extent, but I don't
pretty big
think
update,
it's necessarily what we've been looking for as far as story goes.
No.
Not to mention the gatekeeping that can happen with expeditions.
Yes, yeah.
Which is one of the reasons why I haven't really been playing expeditions.
We came out of our review for that, and we both. Well, I said, it wasn't for me. That's for team. It was daily ops on steroids, and it was for team players, and it's fine. Nuka World, we were both more positive about, which I loved.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Lots of little activities and stuff to do. The new events I thought were great fun, and the new characters were nice. But yes, sorry to interrupt.
But yeah, I mean, I definitely get what they're saying. I still play. But yeah, I mean, basically unless I'm playing with people I know, like if I'm on a team with them, I'll just kind of get the dailies done and go about my business. Dailies and maybe whatever weeklies I can.
Yeah. I mean, I'm impressed that, I know you said the content maybe doesn't come fast enough. I mean, it does. There's new stuff on the Atomic Shop every week, and yes, all right, you got to pay for that. I know, but this game continuously puts out stuff for free more than other games do, and it has persisted. So I think, despite it maybe not giving me what I want all the time, I'm not going to shit on the game for that, because it's clearly delivering an experience that thousands of people are very happy to get involved in.
It still has a team that's actively working on it.
Yeah.
So, and we know that they do listen to the community, maybe not as much as they'd like with some things.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it still is thriving. There's still plenty of communities that are in this game doing things actively every single day.
So in the last 24 hours, I like to check on this, just from the Steam charts, over 9,000 people playing on PC, which, obviously that doesn't include console. We know there's a big fan base, a big player base on console. Both you and I play on console. It's good, so despite this drip feed that this user has mentioned, it's working for lots of people out there. And I'm happy to see it work. I'm happy for people I'm happy that players are getting what they want. I think if people weren't getting what they want, you wouldn't see 9,000 on the Steam charts. You'd see 800, 1,000 and stuff like that. So whether people want to admit it or not, Fallout 76 is a good game, and a lot of people love playing it. There's just no two which ways about it. There's games have come and gone since its release, We've had live service games come out in the past 18 months that are already dead. So I'm not going to... I find myself in this weird position where I'm not complaining. I'm just happy to go, I would love to have this instead, but it's fine. I get it. They're not changing course too much because clearly what they're doing is working. So... what do I know?
I mean, it's gotten to the point where they've had to hire other teams to work on this.
Yeah.
So just to keep up.
Yeah. Anyway, yes, thank you, White Lionel, for your response. Then we have one from here, from Goddess Nerd on Twitter. So the cleaned up clutter was definitely a welcome addition on the building side. Stuff like the typewriter and fan seems so simple, but it's nice to get those little things. Yes, the clean bathtub I saw as well.
I do remember the last episode I did record something separately because I talked about this.
Oh yeah.
It was something I kind of shit on in that, I believe. Like, I was just like, why are they giving us junk for our camps? But it actually, a lot of people have really enjoyed it. I haven't really built any, like, why would I need a toaster just sitting around?
I thought the toaster looked good.
Well, and it's more about just making your camp look like it's something that's lived in.
Yeah.
Although, from what I understand, like the typewriter and things like that actually take up quite a bit of budget, which you wouldn't think something that small would. But yeah, like the wood pile gives you, a way to collect wood if you don't have, a supply just out in the wild close to your camp. I do. But the hanging rad stag will give you fresh meat. I mean, the typewriter and the toaster doesn't really give you anything, but it looks nice. So, if I've said this before, I'm not much of a builder. Hopefully I will be fairly soon. I've kind of renovated my camp a little bit recently, but if there's, it's one more thing to add to the mood of your camp. So, if you're enjoying it, then great. I thought it was kind of odd, and it was like, why are they giving us? Because normally you would scrap a toaster rather than just place it in your camp. But hey, people are liking it. So
no, that's a toaster I'd like to have in real life. My current toaster is boring. That one's much better.
I had to replace mine recently, actually.
Oh no. Yeah, so, I mean, it's good. And then we have thank you, Goddess Nerd, for your reply. And then we have one from our friends over at the Modus Files. So, same sort of thing. Absolutely great camp items this time around. The clutter items were fantastic. So, yeah, it's clearly, struck a chord with people in the right way, that sort of stuff. Before we wrap up, so I finished with the reply from the Modus Files. You obviously have been kind of collaborating with the Modus File. Do you just want to tell some of our listeners about that who may not be aware?
I've actually voiced a couple of characters now on that show. I voiced Lieutenant Douglas, part of Team Cryptid, funny enough. Cryptid hunting. That character has been a lot of fun. But I also have started voicing another character called the Gray Commander on that show. So I'm voicing somebody who's good and also somebody who's maybe a little nefarious.
Doing a heel turn.
It's been a lot of fun. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and I actually made both voices kind of distinct. So Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. So definitely, it's a Fallout audio drama podcast that centers around the Enclave rebuilding Appalachia. So, by any means necessary, I guess. But, yeah,
Yes.
it's been a lot of fun.
If you
I'm hoping to do more of this sort of thing too. So,
just trying to go to their Twitter account, because I'm pretty sure the recent episode just came out.
yeah, it was. I want to say it was last Monday.
Yeah. Where is it?
So,
Where is it? Where is it?
I play the Grey Commander at the very end. So.
I cannot find it. There's lots of tweets on it.
It's called The Rarest Cryptid.
Yeah. So yeah, and you can find it on your podcast feeds, and you can follow Modus Files on Twitter as well at Modus Files. So do go check them out. But yeah, that's awesome, and it's funny because when we started this podcast, we did some terminal readings and stuff, and had people do some, and it's a thing that I want to do more of, because it's completely understandable why things like the Modus Files are successful, because Fallout is just so rich in being able to do your own fan created audio dramas and stuff and dramas and fan content, because the world is so huge, and it's RPG stuff. And it's something that I always wanted us to do more of, and I have ideas floating around. Finding the time to do this is so difficult, But I'm just pleased that you've been able to get involved with them as well, and hopefully we hear more soon.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. I think we are going to wrap it up for today. We will be back soon. We have some things in the works for future episodes. I don't know when they're coming yet, so I'm not going to say them here on this episode. But there is more stuff coming. As mentioned,
looking forward to it.
Yeah, do come and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well, where if you don't catch Eric's streams on Twitch, you can. I'm going to start uploading the VODs to there. And some new Let's Plays and things coming as well, and some other ideas I've got floating around. So yeah, feeling good about Fallout. Previous episode we also mentioned TV show stuff. When that comes, we're going to be talking about that. We're going to be really diving into that hard as well. So
absolutely, lots
of exciting things around the future. Eric, before we wrap up, is there anything else you wanted to say, or anything else we haven't covered, or you wanted to plug?
Well, I mean, by the time this gets out, like I mentioned United Wastelanders, but they're doing a production of Alice in Wonderland, partnering with the Wasteland Theater Company on Twitch. So, I mean, by the time this gets out, it'll be done. They record this tomorrow evening, so look for that on their YouTube channel. But as far as me personally, I am going to be a part of the Fallout for Hope Alzheimer's charity fundraising next month with the Wes Johnson Longest Day charity thing. So I'm going to be streaming a bit more, trying to raise some money for people for researching Alzheimer's cures. So definitely check that out. Be on the lookout for that. That starts May 1st, I believe. So something that's near and dear to all of us. I'm sure we all know somebody who's been affected by Alzheimer's. So I'm just trying to do my part to help with that.
Yeah, I mean, enough good stuff can't be said about the work that Fallout for Hope does. It is kind of just astounding, really. So yeah, that's awesome. And I'll put links and stuff, and we'll tweet it out as well. So cool. But yeah, we're going to wrap it up there. We'll be back with more Fallout chat and gameplay chat and all kinds of chat soon. As always, Eric, thank you for joining me. It's always nice to see your face in person and react and talk to you.
Is it really?
Yeah. In person, I say, in quotation, air quotes. But yes, everybody listening, thank you for listening. Please do give us a rating or review on Spotify or podcast app of choice. Subscribe on the YouTube. Come and follow us on Twitter at TFTWPod. We'll be back again soon. Until next time, stay safe out there, Wanderers.